Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup, a compilation of major stories in the week ending. I'm Tunde Alabi. Thank you for being part of the program today. UK Prime Minister David Cameron has said uncontrolled immigration can damage UK labour market. He stated this while proposing tougher rules to control migration in his latest speech at the Home Office. The Prime Minister also announced that the Home Office will be given new power to seize the wages of illegal immigrants in the United Kingdom.
While a strong country isn't one that pulls up the drawbridge, it is one that properly controls immigration. That's what people of all backgrounds, voted for, and I believe they were right to do so. Why is it right? Well, because if you have uncontrolled immigration, you have uncontrolled pressure on public services, and that raises basic issues of fairness. Uncontrolled immigration can damage our labour market and push down wages, and working people rightly want a government that's on their side. Uncontrolled immigration means too many people coming to the UK legally but staying illegally. And people are fed up with a system that allows those who are not meant to be in our country to remain here. So the British people want these things sorted, and as the Home Secretary just said, we've been working over the last 5 years towards that. We've fundamentally taken the approach that we inherited and changed it. Bogus colleges, they've been shut down. Paying the rent and dole of jobless migrants, we've stopped that. Illegal immigrants driving on our roads, we've revoked their licences, over 9,000 of them. People from outside Europe using the NHS for free, we're now charging them and putting the money back into our health service. And we've clamped down on the fake brides and grooms entering into sham marriages. We brought in exit checks, so we will now know who is here and whether they should have gone home. And we've also said to all parts of government, controlling immigration isn't just a job for the Home Office, it's a job for health, for employment, housing, education, business, the Treasury, everyone. It's what I call a whole government approach. And I want to thank everyone here from all different departments as well as the Home Office for the role that you play in that. We've also recognised that we needed to reduce the demand for migrant labour by making our own people more willing and able to do the jobs that this country needs. So with 2 million more apprenticeships, radical welfare reform, and a system where it pays to work, we are getting there. There were times under the last government, under Labour, when 90% of job growth was taken up by foreign nationals. Under us, the majority of the rise in employment, a record of 1,000 jobs for every day we've been in office, the majority have gone to Brits. But today's figures show how far we have to go to reach our goal. Frankly, in the last government, the Home Secretary was very keen on controlling immigration. I was very keen on controlling immigration. But sometimes when we got to the Department for Business, we got a rather unwelcome response. We now have a team of ministers in every single department that are dedicated to delivering this agenda, whether they're in the Home Office or the Health Department or the Education Department or DCLG or wherever else, because it's absolutely vital to reassure the public that this is a fair country, that if you come here and you're allowed to come here, you can have a great future here. You can go to great schools, you can build a great business, you can build a great life for yourself, yes, but if you're not entitled to be here, you cannot stay. And that is absolutely vital to the sense of fairness that should be at the heart of our immigration system, and why all the measures in this speech about combating people who are here illegally is absolutely key to restoring faith in our immigration system.
Prime Minister David Cameron has promised more power to Scotland but has ruled out full fiscal autonomy. The Prime Minister made the pledge during his visit to Scotland to meet with the First Minister Nicola Sturgeon.
I'm here in Edinburgh today, just 8 days after the general election, meeting with the First Minister in Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, to talk about how we make sure our United Kingdom works for everybody. We had a good meeting, we agreed to have this respect agenda that I've spoken about, to meet more regularly, to make sure the Joint Ministerial Council that brings together all the nations of the United Kingdom works together. But above all, I'm delivering on the commitment I made, which is that the Smith Commission report on further devolution will be implemented in full through a Scotland bill in the first Queen's speech that will come in just a few days' time. That's an important commitment because the Smith Commission was a commission made in Scotland by the Scottish parties for the Scottish people, and it gives massive extra power to the Scottish Parliament. If the Scottish Parliament wants to take a different approach on, say, taxation and spending, raise more in taxes, spend more money, it will be able to. So that was an important part of our discussions. I'm of course happy to consider other proposals, but I think we need to implement what we've promised before diving into further changes. Let me be clear about something else. I don't support full fiscal autonomy for Scotland. I think the idea of laying onto the Scottish people another £7 billion of either spending cuts or tax increases, I don't think that would be good for Scotland. So the choice I offer people in Scotland is let's keep the United Kingdom together, and within the United Kingdom, let's have a very strong Scottish Parliament. But let's keep the solidarity of our union, where if Scotland has a bad year or if the oil price falls, you know the rest of the United Kingdom is there right behind you. Our United Kingdom is an amazing success story, not just in terms of what it has done in the past, but what it offers in the future. And part of that success is solidarity. We stand behind each other, and I say we should keep doing that.
The First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, also said she wants the Scottish Parliament to be given more powers over business taxes, employment law, the minimum wage, and power over welfare.
I want Scotland to full fiscal autonomy. David Cameron doesn't. What we said in our manifesto was that there were priority powers over and above the Smith Commission that we wanted to see devolve. So what we're talking about are business taxes, employment legislation, the minimum wage, and more powers over welfare. Now, these are not powers that are randomly put forward by us. These are the key levers you need to grow the economy faster, to get more people into jobs, and to lift people out of poverty. They're powers for a purpose, and as a priority, I want to see the Scottish Parliament able to exercise those powers on its own. I suppose my overarching message to David Cameron, I said it to him on the phone last Friday, I've said it to him again today, is that he's got a choice to make about how he responds to how people in Scotland voted last week. He can act as if it's business as usual and nothing has changed, and people will draw their own conclusions from that. They'll think, well, Westminster is incapable of listening and responding. Or he can prove that Westminster does listen, it does respond, it can deliver a better deal for Scotland. The choice is his, but I hope he goes down the latter route.
And to the United States, U.S. President Barack Obama has promised more opportunities for Americans in his weekly address at the White House. The president highlights the importance of expanding opportunities for all Americans as part of his administration strategy to deal with inequalities.
Everything we've done over the past 6 years has been in pursuit of one overarching goal: creating opportunity for all. What we've long understood, though, is that some communities have consistently had the odds stacked against them. That's true of rural communities with chronic poverty. It's true of some manufacturing communities that suffered after the plants they depended on closed their doors. It's true of some suburbs and inner cities where jobs can be hard to find and harder to get to. And that sense of unfairness and powerlessness has helped to fuel the kind of unrest that we've seen in places like Baltimore and Ferguson and New York. It has many causes, from a basic lack of opportunity to groups feeling unfairly targeted by police, which means there's no single solution. But there are many things that could make a difference and could help. And we have to do everything in our power to make this country's promise real for everyone willing to work for it. That's why last Tuesday, at a summit organized by Catholics and evangelicals, I sat down with a conservative scholar and a poverty expert for a discussion on what it takes to open more doors of opportunity. We know our efforts matter. Since 1967, we've brought poverty down by about 40%, thanks in part to programs like Social Security and the Earned Income Tax Credit for working families. And we know that there are folks from all faiths and across the ideological spectrum who care deeply about the least of these. So I hope this conversation continues, not as a question of whether, but of how we can work together to grow opportunity. Because it's not words, but deeds that make a difference. And from expanding tax cuts for working parents, to raising high school graduation rates, to helping millions of Americans secure health insurance when they didn't have it just a few years ago, our actions are making a difference. Of course, lack of opportunity is not the only barrier between too many of our young people and the kind of future they deserve. On Monday, I'll travel to Camden, New Jersey, a city that has faced one of the highest violent crime rates in America. I'll highlight some of the innovative things they've done to help police do their jobs more safely and reduce crime in the process. And I'll highlight steps all cities can take to maintain trust between the brave law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line and the communities they have sworn to serve and protect. Whether we are Democrats, Republicans, or Independents, whether we live in one of our poorest communities, one of our wealthiest, or anywhere in between, we all want our country to be one where hard work pays off and responsibility is rewarded. We want a place where you can make it if you try. That's the promise we make to our young people. That's the promise that makes us exceptional, and it's the promise I'll never stop fighting to keep for my children and for yours.
To economy, business, technology, the totality of what makes man is what we bring to you here on this Punch. We give you the information that you need, from business to economy to politics to technology, and that's all we do here on this Punch, from the beginning to the end, and that is why we are here. Keep watching this Punch from Ben Television. And today I'll be your host. And with that story on the United States of America, we conclude the news roundup for this week. Thank you for being part of it. I am Tunde Alabi. I'll see you again next week. Have a very good week ahead. Bye.